Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today we will continue with the same system of particles. Today we'll start with what is torque and angular momentum first. So to find whether torque or angular momentum, we must have reference point or reference axis. Like when you consider angular momentum or torque, if you specify the reference point like this, first let us take angular momentum. If a particle of mass m moving with a velocity, now at any particular instant, you have to find its position. Let's take r bar. And there is an angle between position and velocity. Then the angular momentum is defined as r bar cross b bar. Moment of linear momentum is defined as angular momentum, or else m into r bar cross v bar, where r bar cross v bar means like cross product v into r into sine theta or rp sine theta. Or else to find it in a simple manner, what you have to do is you draw a line along the direction of motion. Then find the perpendicular distance of the point of reference. Then that perpendicular distance into linear momentum or that perpendicular distance into mv, that is equal to angular momentum of the particle about that reference point. So you need to first specify the reference point, then only you can find the angular momentum. So here I have clearly mentioned what is r bar, sorry, r perpendicular. Distance of point of reference from the direction of motion of particle or from the line of direction of motion. Similar way, if you consider the same particle, now one force is acting on the particle in a particular direction. Then with respect to the reference point, again you find the position vector and then find the angle between now r bar and f bar. Now torque is defined as r bar cross f bar, that is moment of force. See, moment of linear momentum is angular momentum r bar cross p bar. Moment of force is called torque, that is Rf sin theta. Here also same thing. If you draw a line along the line of action of force, then there is a perpendicular distance. There is a perpendicular distance of the point of reference, and that torque equal to R perpendicular into F. So R perpendicular is perpendicular distance of point of reference from the line of action of force. So the line along which the force is acting, that is called line of action of force. And to find angular momentum or torque, we need to know the how to find the cross product of two vectors using the matrices determinant, where first row will be I minus jk fixed and second row should be coefficients of first vector and third row is coefficients of second vector. So this one you should learn it. Like they will give the question one example. They have given force in vector form and particle acting at a point and find the moment of force about this point. So this is the reference point and this is the point where force is acting. So what is r bar will become? Position vector will become final. The point where force is acting is the final point, this one. So this is the initial point. So that you have to take x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap, where x1, y1, z1 is reference point. Here what is the reference point? 2 minus 2 minus 2. What is the point where force is acting? 2 comma 0 comma minus 3. Like that questions will come. Just try to solve the question. Sometimes they will give like this also. See, here the particle is moving along a particular line. So y equal to x plus 4 means it is along it is like mx plus c form. That means positive slope with positive intercept like this. Now, here the perpendicular distance from the origin will become this one. Intercept means this one is 4. Now, the mx means m is 1 means slope is 45 because slope means tan theta. So, tan theta equal to 1 means theta is 45. So, from this data, you can find this perpendicular distance. Then you can find whether what they are asking angular momentum because they have given velocity. So, sometimes few questions they will give based on the mathematical calculation also. So, please try to remember it carefully. Now, next thing, based on kinematics of rotational motion. So what is kinematics of rotational motion means? When a body is rotating, there is an angular displacement, angular velocity, angular acceleration, apart from linear velocity, linear acceleration. And same relations will come here, just like circular motion. Like linear velocity v equal to r into omega, where v is linear velocity, omega is angular velocity. So that here r greater means v greater. So r2 greater than r1. So v2 greater than v1. So for a body when it is rotating about a fixed axis, then each and every point on the body must have same omega but different linear velocities. Now if you compare linear motion and translation rotational motion, in linear motion mass is the inertia of the body. In rotational motion, moment of inertia is the inertia of the body. Here linear displacement, here angular displacement, here linear velocity, and that is average and instantaneous. Here angular velocity, that is also average and instantaneous. Here linear acceleration, average, instantaneous. Here angular acceleration. And in kinematics, you have studied that when acceleration is constant, these are the three formulas we can apply between any two situations where initial velocity u, final velocity v, displacement covered is s, time taken is c, acceleration is a. Similarly, when a body is rotating, when it is rotated from one point to another point with an angular velocity omega naught, final omega, after covering a displacement theta in a time t with an angular acceleration alpha, then these are the formulas: final angular velocity, total angular displacement, and the relation between angular velocity and displacement. So based on these things, the questions can come, and these questions we call it as like kinematics of rotational motion. Let's take one point. A point on the rim of a disc starts circular motion from rest, and after time it gains an angular acceleration alpha value they have given. Calculate the angular velocity. Alpha value given means alpha is nothing but d omega by dt. Then integration d omega will become integration alpha dt. From where to where? So in 2 seconds means 0 to t, where alpha value already they have given. So if you substitute and go for the integration, then you will get the answer. So this way, they can ask questions, similar questions like kinematics. But there, the question is based on linear quantities. Here, the question will be based on angular quantities. A wheel of a motor rotates with constant acceleration of 4 radian per second. If the wheel starts from rest, how many revolutions will it make in the first 20 seconds? How many revolutions it will make means number of revolutions means theta by 2 pi. One revolution means it will cover 2 pi angle. So how many revolutions means total angular displacement by 2 pi. So how do you find theta? Omega naught t plus half alpha t square. So then you can find it. So this is alpha and starts from rest means omega naught 0, so that you can apply the formula theta equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. where omega not 0. Then after finding theta, if you divide with 2 pi, then you will get number of revolutions. Now, next kind, on what basis question will come is based on pure rotation of rigid body or dynamics of rigid body, where when you consider a rigid body like a ring, disc, sphere or solid cylinder or rod, when it is rotating about one of the axes, then angular momentum and torques are defined like this. Angular momentum is I into omega, torque is I into alpha, where I is moment of inertia of the body about axis of rotation. So here I clearly mentioned I is moment of inertia of the body about the axis about which it is rotating. So that torque tau equal to dl by dt, that is I into d omega by dt, I alpha. And for such rotating body, when you consider the kinetic energy of the rotating body, what kind of kinetic energy will be there? Here, rotational kinetic energy, half I omega square, nothing but L square by 2I. So, just like in translational motion, half mv square, and that is nothing but p square by 2m. Here, mass means moment of inertia will come, v means omega will come. So that is the difference. And linear momentum means here angular momentum will come. So this is the kinetic energy of the body which is rotating about a fixed axis. And similar way, sometimes the questions can be asked based on the equilibrium of a body. So equilibrium of a body means there are two types. One is translational, another one is rotational. So equilibrium means body should remain at rest, or all the forces and torque must be balanced. If the net force is zero, that is called translational equilibrium. Translational equilibrium. If the net torque is zero, then we call it as rotational equilibrium. So if a body is in equilibrium, either you can find resultant force and equate it to zero, or you can find resultant torque and you can equate it to zero. And they can ask question based on pure rotation or equilibrium. Anything they can ask questions. So if the question is based on rotation, find resultant torque and equate it to I alpha. If it is in equilibrium, then choose a reference point and find the torque due to all the forces and equate it to zero. So that is the condition for rotational equilibrium. Like, let's take one question. A constant torque of 3.14 Newton meter is exerted on a pivoted wheel. If the angular acceleration alpha value given and torque is given, moment of inertia they are asking. So the direct formula, as it is a rigid body rotating about a fixed axis, torque tau equal to I into alpha. Tau given, alpha given. So I value you can find it. Now, a rod of weight W is supported by two parallel knife edges A and B and is in equilibrium in a horizontal position. The knives are at a distance D from each other. The center of mass of the rod is at a distance X from A. The normal reaction on A is. See here, there is a rod balancing on two knife edges. One is A and one is B. And the distance between them is D. And the center of mass is at a distance X from one of the edge A. Then the remaining distance will become D minus X. Now if you consider this situation, here one normal reaction, here one normal reaction, and here one weight will act. So total three forces are acting, and as the system is in equilibrium, torque must be zero. But the question is about which point we should consider the torque. As they are asking normal reaction at A, if you consider the reference point as B, then E can find the torque about this point. Then the torque of N2 will become 0. So that N2 will be avoided from the equation. Then you can find N1 value. But you have to take the torque properly. What is the perpendicular distance? and whether anti-clockwise torque or clockwise torque. Like just one thing I will explain you. See here, this is the reference point, this is the force acting. Now this is the position R bar. Now R bar and this is F bar. If you apply the screw rule, it is clockwise like this. So inward. So what is the direction of torque here? Inward. For clockwise rotation from R to F, inward. For anti-clockwise rotation, it is outward. So you can find the torque of N1 and W and you have to equate the resultant to 0. Then you will get this condition. Now the instantaneous angular position, theta value they have given. Just like in kinematics, S equal to something 2t square minus 3t something they will give. Here theta value they are given. They are asking torque on the wheel becomes 0 at. Torque should become 0 means alpha should become 0. Alpha because torque tau equal to I alpha. So alpha should become 0 means d omega by dt should become 0. So where omega is what it will become? D theta by dt. So first you differentiate, then you will get omega. Then you differentiate again, then you will get alpha. Then equate it to 0, then you will get the time value. I have given answer here. Just try to find it. Similar way you try other questions also. Now after this thing, the next thing what they will ask is based on combined translational and rotational motion. Based on combined rotational and translational motion. When body is performing both translational motion and rotational motion, that means the body is rotating as well as moving forward. That only we call it as combined motion of rotation and translational. That only we call it as rolling motion. And in rolling motion, when you consider a point on the body that has some velocity VCM along the direction of velocity of center of mass. Whatever velocity is there for center of mass, same velocity will be there for the particle. Also, there is one velocity along the tangent in which it rotates in a circular path, and if you take tangent at that point, there is a linear velocity due to rotational motion where v equal to r omega. So there are two velocities for every point on the body, and that is one is due to translational motion and another is due to rotational motion. So this is what the velocity of a point. Now if you want to find the resultant velocity, then you have to take vector resultant. But here few points are important, that velocity of center of mass due to translational motion VCM, and omega is angular velocity due to rotational motion, which is same for each and every body. And center of mass moves along straight line, but remaining points move in helical path. Like this they will move. But only center of mass travels along one straight line path because that height will not change. So that any particle, the resultant velocity is this one, resultant of two vectors, a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Now let us consider 2 points, one is at the top, one is at the bottom. And if you consider the topmost point, the velocity due to translational motion, the velocity due to rotational motion, both are in same direction. So the resultant is VCM plus r omega. But at the bottom, both velocities are opposite, so VCM minus r omega. And if VCM equal to r omega, then there is no slipping. That only we call it as pure rolling. Otherwise, it is not pure rolling. So this is the condition for pure rolling. If VCM is greater, then forward slipping, backward friction. If VCM is lesser, then backward slipping, forward friction. But our questions at CET and NEET level will come only based on pure rolling. Now when you consider question is based on pure rolling, then first thing VCM equal to r omega, VA equal to 0, VB equal to 2 VCM or 2 r omega. So as the body is rotating as well as translating combined motion, there is an angular momentum due to translational motion and there is an angular momentum due to rotational motion. This is due to translational motion. This is due to rotational motion. Similarly, kinetic energy also both will be there due to translational and due to rotational. So you need to take the whole sum. And here every rigid body has moment of inertia equal to mk square about any reference point where k is called what? Radius of gyration. In terms of radius of gyration, you can find fractional total energy equal to translational kinetic energy. Fractional total energy equal to translational means translational by total. Fractional total energy equal to rotational kinetic energy means that is k rotational by total. So that is the fractional energy. So based on this, the questions can come. And here a disc of radius 2 meter and mass rolls on a horizontal floor. Its center of mass has speed. So VCM value they have given 20 centimeter per second. And how much work is needed to stop it? So how much work is needed to stop it? So work means change in kinetic energy. That means half I omega square minus omega naught square. Finally, your stopping means this is 0. Initial value they have given where omega equal to VCM by R. Then you will get the VCM value. And moment of inertia of the disk means about its central axis mr square by 2. So you can substitute the value because mass is given, radius is given. So that way you should know moment of inertia. Then only you can solve questions related to rotational motion as well as rolling motion. Otherwise, you cannot solve any question related to rotation or rolling motion. Now, afterwards. So few more questions I have given here for different objects like disk, sphere, hollow sphere or solid sphere, disk, anything. So please just try to practice. Now, one more thing based on rolling down an inclined plane. Same rolling plane, but now it is rolling down an inclined plane. Then you will take the component of forces same like we took it in laws of motion. Then you can make one equation as translational equation, that is resultant force equal to mass into acceleration, and another is rotational equation, that is resultant torque equal to I into alpha. So that if you solve both the equations, you will get the acceleration formula. Where if the body was sliding, we learned acceleration g sin theta for a smooth surface. And if it is a rough surface, then it is sin theta minus mu cos theta. That is acceleration for a sliding body. But here the body is not sliding. What is happening to the body here? It is rolling down. So the acceleration is this one. So they can ask you the question like, if ring, disc, sphere, cylinder, hollow or solid, they allowed to roll down, which will move with greater acceleration, which will move with lesser acceleration. That all depends on what factor here? Moment of inertia, because remaining all are same. So that way they can ask you the comparison based question. And if you apply the v square minus u square equal to 2as or v equal to u plus at, you can also find the velocity at the bottom and time taken to reach the ground. Like it is rolling and came down. So with what velocity it will reach the bottom? In what time it will reach the bottom? So that formula is also important. They will also ask comparison based questions based on velocity and time also. Like which will reach the bottom first? Which will reach the bottom with greater velocity or lesser velocity comparatively? That kind of questions also they can ask you. Now, so they can give questions based on comparison between any two or more regular shaped bodies like which reaches the bottom first, which reaches the bottom with greater velocity, which rolls down and incline with greater acceleration. So everything I mentioned clearly in this illustration. So please go through them and try to understand. And same thing we can also derive from one more thing, that is conservation of energy, that as it is rolling down and coming down, the potential energy will convert into kinetic energy. Potential energy mgh initially. And finally kinetic energy translational plus rotational. If you solve that also, same equation will come for velocity. After finding velocity, you can find the equation for acceleration and time. So based on that, every time they used to ask one question. So please try to remember each and every formula. Now after this, if question is based on a minimum coefficient of friction needed for pure rolling. So here if you consider, there is a same picture I have taken. It should roll down without any sliding means. The limiting friction should be greater than or equal to this much. So that mu mg cos theta should be equal to greater than or equal to Ia by r square. So that's why your condition will come. So please remember this condition. If it should allow to roll down, pure rolling means the coefficient of friction must be either equal or greater than this one. Then only it can roll down the inclined surface. Otherwise it will slides. I mean slipping will be there. So this is how the questions will come based on rolling. See, don't think much about the rolling and rotational motion. Try to remember each formula. Try to solve simple level of questions. Then it will become easier. Now here, few questions also there. So just try to understand. A sphere pure rolls on a rough inclined plane with initial velocity. Find the maximum distance on the inclined plane. So here the thing is different, ma. It is rolling up. As it is rolling up, it will reach particular height h. Then mgh final energy equal to half mv square plus half I omega square. Then you will get the h value. After finding h value, they are asking the distance covered along the incline. That is sine 30 you will take. Sine 30 is h by s. Then you can find s value. See here, I have given the solution also, acceleration. So initial velocity is 2.8. So here they have taken another method. They have taken acceleration and they did it. They have taken acceleration and it is reaching one particular maximum distance, means there what it will become. You take any method, both are same. When it is rolling up and it reaches one particular maximum height, means here velocity becomes 0. So you can apply the formula like v square minus u square equal to 2as. See here, v square minus u square equal to 2as. If you apply u value they have given and a value we found it, then you will get the distance covered along the inclined surface. Now here if you take a solid cylinder of mass 2 kg and radius 50 centimeter, rolls up an inclined plane of angle inclination 30. The center of mass of cylinder has speed. The distance traveled by the cylinder on the inclined surface. Same question again, but here they mentioned solid cylinder. So the concept is same. Take either conservation of energy principle or else you take acceleration and take the final velocity 0. Then apply v square minus u square equal to 2as. Then you will get it. Now, so here already I have given the solution. So you can look at the solution. Same thing. Here they applied kinetic energy equal to potential energy, so that they found the value. Then they took sine theta equal to h by x. So in this question, they have done the solution according to what I explained. Now, a cylinder rolls up an inclined plane, reaches some height and then rolls down. without slipping throughout this motion. The direction of the frictional force acting on the cylinder R. See here, the direction of frictional force will be up the inclined plane in both the motions. Why? Because see, whether it is going up or down, when it is on inclined surface means the chances of sliding is downward only. So that the friction will try to prevent from slipping. So the friction should act always in which direction? Upward direction. That's why in both the cases friction acts along the inclined plane upward direction. That is what they mention here clearly. See here. Even diagram also there. Clear explanation is also there. So clear explanation they have given and with the diagram also they explain. So try to understand it. And this is a solid sphere of mass m rolls without slipping. What should be the minimum coefficient? I have given the formula for this one already. Mu should be greater than or equal to g tan theta by 1 plus mr square by I, where I is moment of inertia that depends on the body. Here solid sphere means what is the moment of inertia will become 2 by 5 mr square. So if you substitute that value, then you will get the answer. Now, when a uniform solid sphere and a disk of the same mass and of same radius rolls down an inclined smooth plane from rest to the same distance, then the ratio of the times taken. We have the formula for time taken to reach the bottom of the inclined surface. So, take that time formula like 1 by sin theta under root 2h by g 1 plus I by mr square. Then compare for both the bodies. Then you will get the ratio. So here I have given the solution also. See here. One is for condition of minimum coefficient. Another is for the time taken to reach the ratio of time taken to reach the ground. So they have taken the formula and they applied it, right? So this is how think in a small manner. Try to remember each formula. Center of mass is one concept. Moment of inertia is another concept. Torque is another concept. Angular momentum is another concept. And rotational motion about a fixed axis another concept. Rolling motion about another concept. And one last and final thing that I will tell you, that is conservation of angular momentum. See, conservation of angular momentum means for any system, if external torque is 0, then dl by dt is 0, then angular momentum remains constant. Then I1 omega 1 equal to I2 omega 2 or I into omega remains constant. So for any system, the angular momentum remains constant if the total or net torque on the system is 0. For example, I will tell you there is a disk rotating with an angular velocity omega 1 with a moment of inertia omega I1. Now one more disk they placed gently on it whose moment of inertia I2. Then initially is I1 omega 1. Finally is I1 plus I2 into the angular velocity is omega dash. So initial should be equal to final because finally they move with one common angular velocity. So based on such simple things, they will ask the questions like on the condition called conservation of angular momentum. So please try to understand each and everything, revise every topic, remember each and every formula, then try to solve all the questions whatever given in the illustrations first, then try to do it further, right? So thank you so much.